Hi guys, so July is actually Minority Mental Health Awareness Month, and since I'm half a minority with being Spanish, I guess I wanted to make a couple videos talking about certain mental health issues and just kind of put them out there. So this video, it's not for the faint of heart, it's for something that's pretty serious. It's for a pretty painful subject, the subject of breakups. So, being in a relationship with someone with a mental health illness is very difficult, to say the least. Relationships in and of themselves already have a lot of difficulties, and then when you throw in the mental health illness aspect, it just makes it a lot harder. I specifically want to talk about breakups and what happens when you're dating somebody with a mental health disorder and it no longer benefits you and you need to get out and you need to break up with someone with a mental health illness. It's not easy dating somebody like that. Not like that. It's not easy dating somebody with a mental illness. A lot of times in those relationships, that person tends to be taking care of the other person, and that can be very emotionally draining. It becomes a burden sometimes, and this is what happens when the relationship just isn't healthy and the person with the mental health disorder isn't using other resources. You should never have one person that you go to for everything. You should have a support group. You should have a number of different tools in your arsenal, so nobody gets burnt out, and so you can always be serviced, and you can always you'll get different perspectives, and you'll have you'll just have more help that way. I'm gonna tell you some things not to do though during a breakup with someone with a mental health issue. So the first thing is, if you are dating somebody with an illness and it no longer benefits you and you are not happy and you are overwhelmed, remove yourself. You are not obligated to stay with this person just because they're going through something. You need to care about your own well-being and how you're doing. So you got to remove yourself, and you have to be honest with the person, and you have to let them know straight up. Be as direct and as kind as you can be. Maybe don't do it over the telephone or text messages. This is something that's gonna be especially hard for the person with the mental health illness. So you unfortunately have to do better. A lot of people don't know how to deal with breakups. But when somebody's hanging on by a thread, you gotta do a little better. That doesn't mean that you don't care about yourself, but you just, you kind of gotta face the awkwardness of a breakup head on. So that's the first thing. Remove yourself, and remove yourself in a way where you are honest and direct with the other person. Number 2, remove yourself. And so the first thing is like that you're severing ties and you're like ending the relationship. The second one, remove yourself from that person's life. Do not do this bullshit of sticking around, of trying to be friends. Don't do it. No, especially if it's a facade. That's going to be more harmful and more hurtful for the other person, because they're going to think that they have an actual friend in you. A lot of times, people who have a mental health issue, maybe people who struggle with depression or suicide, Their personal relationships are what keeps them afloat. It's what keeps them, hanging on, so to speak. And so when you do sever it, sever it. Do not do this wishy-washy, this pussyfooting around of, I want to be your friend, and I'm going to be in your life, and I'm going to go, and we're going to do this, and we're going to do that. No. No, boo-boos. Go. Pack your shit up and leave, sis. Find the nearest exit and get the fuck out. Because what you're going to do is you're going to cause so much harm to this person. Because things are going to hit the fan eventually, and they're going to feel overwhelmed, and they're going to feel like they're hanging by a thread, and they're going to contact you. And you're not going to be emotionally invested, because you're not emotionally invested in this person anymore. Leave. Sis, leave. Don't do it. No. Number 3, especially don't stick around and you're telling other people to pick up the slack because you're going to be leaving this person's life. But you're telling that person that you're going to be there for them and you're going to stick around. No. Just because they have a mental health issue doesn't mean that they're a child. You can be honest with them and you can tell them, the relationship didn't work. For my own well-being, we have to cut ties. It's hard. It's hard to do, but when you do this whole wishy-washy thing of, I'm gonna be there for you and you can call on me, and if you need something, and then you're telling other people like, yeah, I'm getting the fuck out of Dodge. It's so disingenuous, and it's so not fair to the person with the mental health issue. It's very damaging. And what it means is that all the times that you've been consoling that person, you've been acting on pity. You feel sorry for them. Oh, poor you. No. We're adults. Treat a person with respect. Treat them like, even though they're going through something, they still have agency over their own lives. They're not stupid. Don't treat them like that. Number 4. Breakups should be handled with kindness and compassion. Just a regular breakup. So, especially so if a person has a mental health illness. I can't believe I have to say this, but if you are choosing to stick around and you are meeting up with this person and you are saying things that are malicious and rude, you are part of the fucking problem. Now it's no longer, oh, you need to get out of the relationship for your own well-being and you need to do you. Now you're malicious. Now you're no longer a person that's just trying to deal with this and move on and just deal with their life. Now you're choosing to act that way. You are acting with agency, and you are acting in a way that is harmful and so hurtful to that person. I dated somebody that when they broke up with me said the most malicious and mean bullshit that a lot of times I was like, what? And the thing is that I stuck around for it. That's the painful thing. It's not so much that the person said that stuff, because you know what, fuck them. Like, when a person says all those things, that says more about them than it does you. But when you choose to stick around for that, that's when it says something negative about yourself. Why are you choosing to be around this person? I dated somebody who was giving me a ride home. Again, why? Bitch, why? Just remove yourself. But okay, he was giving me a ride home, and we were still like 14 blocks away. And this motherfucker is gonna go and tell me, you know, because he had seen with my therapist. And he's gonna go and tell me that my therapist, who I trust and who was helping me through this really hard time, told him that all he needs in this life is a tight pussy and a warm place to shit. And he told that shit to me, and I sat there and my heart sank to the floor. I was like, oh, okay, I'm still dealing with the breakup, and like my feelings are really hurt, but that was cool to hear too, man. Thanks. It's unnecessary. It's unnecessary, and it is not okay. It is not okay to stick around with somebody who struggles with a mental illness and you make things harder for them. It is not okay whether you're saying bullshit because you were hurt during the relationship, or you want to get back at them, or whatever the fuck it is. You're being fucking malicious. You're being disgustingly malicious, because this is, and a lot of people don't see it this way, but it is true. People genuinely kill themselves for shit like that. They really, really do. They really are. You're hanging on by a thread, and it's like you're being pelted with bullshit. Some people just don't have the strength to keep dealing with it. They don't. And it's not okay. And that was just one thing. There were many. I'm telling you, this dude was like Wayne Gretzky. You know, like, you miss 100% of the shots you don't take. He took all his fucking shots. Every chance, every opportunity that he had to belittle me, to humiliate me, to let me know that I didn't matter, the relationship didn't matter, he took. And again, that says a lot about him, and it tells you about the state I was in, that I stuck around and I gave him that shot. I gave him those chances. I let him, okay, yeah, totes, all right. Scoffing at the way that I looked. I called on him when something really serious happened, and he was just like so not there, not present, just not invested. And again, when you break up with somebody, your main concern is you, and you remove yourself from the situation, and you look for, you know, you're on your path to make sure you have a happy life. But when you stick around and you say and do shit that is harmful to the other person, now you're no longer a victim. Now you're fucking malicious, and it's not okay. So to anybody with a mental health issue, I know it's hard, but if you're dating somebody or you're going through a breakup and they're mimicking any of the behaviors that I talked about, get the fuck out. Run, crawl, bitch, I don't care what you do, but get the fuck out. Man or woman, get the fuck out. That's not okay. And if you're a person who is going to, and is or is already breaking up with somebody with a mental health issue, act with kindness and compassion. Again, you are your primary hold on, I can't think of the word. You're the primary thing that you're caring about. You know, you have to care about yourself. But you still, that does not mean that you get to ridicule this person. That doesn't mean that you get to pussyfoot around the bush, and that you get to act without any sense of conscience, any compassion or empathy. No, fuck you. No, fuck you profoundly. Seriously, fuck you. Profoundly. Fuck you. In this life, we owe it to each other to do better and to act with kindness and compassion. And motherfucker, do it. Don't be a fucking bland ass motherfucker. It's just, no, don't do it. No. So yes, I leave you guys with that. And remember, July is Minority Mental Health Awareness Month. So, and the reason why they have this month is because minorities don't have the same access to mental health care. And that's something that we all need to change, because this shit affects us one and all of us. And I hope that anyone struggling, there are a lot of resources. There's the crisis center, there's the hotline, talking to anybody, really anybody, who will hear you out. This is something that can be beaten, and we shouldn't suffer alone. So thank you guys, and have an awesome day. And don't be a fucking asshole.